The broadcast is now starting. All attendees are in listen-only mode.
Hello and welcome to this webinar covering boom management functionality in SolidWorks in general and SolidWorks PDM Professional in particular. My name is Petter Månsson. I work as a solution specialist in PLM Group in Sweden. I've been working here for the last 14 years doing SolidWorks mainly and simulation support and implementations. This webinar is mainly focused on the brief overview or to show you the functionality, not in-depth information regarding how to set things up. But if you have any questions, you are just in listen-only mode, so you have to use the question panel to type the questions down. Good. I will do some polls as well, just to give us a better understanding of what information regarding boom and where you are in your boom management today. But that will come later on in this presentation. So, okay, let's start then. As you all know, every department in a company has different needs, and therefore it's vital that everyone can get the product information they need. For instance, engineering boom is not the same as a spare part boom or a purchase boom, and in some cases they are, but often they aren't. So we will have a look at how to define engineering booms and how to create other types of booms as well. And with a good PDM boom management, we can lower the boom errors by integrate the design and engineering with other disciplines. We can reduce the engineering time to create this. We can streamline our boom workflow and also reduce the manual work. And as you all know, manual work, if you have to type something in 2 or 3 places, it might be some errors due to this. So the agenda for this webinar is starting with the boom in SolidWorks. I think most of you have done that. It's the classical way, doing it on a drawing. We will also have a look at how to do it, apply, or how to define an assembly boom. We will also have a look at Treehouse, how to graphically view the boom structure in Treehouse. And then we will have a look at the boom management in the PDM Professional, with a brief overview, how to compare booms, how to create different booms with new names, and be able to change and save them and check them in, and also send them in the workflow. We will look at the weldment boom as well, for welded structures. And finally, we'll have a look at how to export the boom to other systems like ERP Systems or Excel. But first I launch a poll here to see what type of booms you use today. Okay. If I just share the results here, you can see that about 70% of you use mainly the engineering boom and 30% the production boom, and that's probably the answer our PDM guys would have guessed as well. Okay, so if we just start with having a look at the boom in SolidWorks, and this is really where we can create the structure and the engineering boom. So we can call it the classical way. Sorry for that. So if I open up a drawing here, you can see that I have inserted a boom, and this boom is predefined from a template, but I can insert columns and rows as I want here. And the boom is reading from the part files in this case. So I can define a top level or a parts intended list or what I want here. Change the order, and then apply some balloons to visually show the parts and link together. I don't think that's something new for you SolidWorks guys. Sorry, I just forgot to close the boom. Sorry for that. Hope everyone can see the drawing here now. As I just said here, you can just take it once more here. I have inserted a bill of material on the drawing showing the item number, the part number and description. I can, with the right click, I can insert a column to show some other information from the parts, material or etc. I also have the quantity here. So when I do this in SolidWorks or on a drawing, it's really the engineering boom. I have the SolidWorks structure calculated and giving me the quantities. If we go to a newer approach, creating the booms in an assembly, I can show the boom visually in the graphical area, and I can also use the boom for MBD. And MBD is covered in some other webinars earlier at PLM Group and can be visible at our website. So I won't go into deep there, but MBD is standing for model-based definition, which is really a drawing-less workflow, so to speak. I can just go to the other model here. I don't say that. So I have an assembly here with two 3D views created, and if I double click the second here, we can see that I have the boom defined. So I just insert a boom in the graphical area here, and the 3D view is capturing that, and then I also define some balloons here to show this visually. If I just define export these 3D views to a PDF, I can just show you how you can do this show this in a 3D PDF as well. So when I capture this, I just save it, and then SolidWorks is creating the 3D PDF for me. So if I just accept this, I can show those 3D views as you saw in SolidWorks as well on the screen. And here we have the boom as well. So if I click one component, it highlights it in the graphical area as well. And another way to show the SolidWorks structure or the engineering boom more visually is in Treehouse. Treehouse is a quite new product from SolidWorks. Yeah, it's not that new, but still, I don't think it's very well known about. So I'll just show you here. So if I go to the preview here, I have opened a file, and then I can see the structure. So this assembly here has some sub-assemblies with the showing the structure below. So just zoom in here, I can see that I have some sheet metal part here with some nuts, and I can see number of components count here as well, and also information regarding the components as well. And here I can type in information to the system as well. So it's a good overview to see the structure in a SolidWorks assembly. So if we go to the really boom management functionality, it's in the SolidWorks PDM Professional package. So if we start with a brief overview of the interface showing the boom tab, I can just open it up. And as many of you probably knows, the PDM Professional is integrated in Windows Explorer. Of course, if you run SolidWorks, you have an integration to SolidWorks as well. But I will show you the Explorer interface here. So as you can see, I have my usually known interface, Explorer. But when I log into the Vault folder, I get another interface here. So here I got assembly. I can just look at the preview here. And it's the same assembly you saw in Treehouse before. And in the assembly, I was in the interface, I got the data card for this assembly with the metadata. I got the version, the history, and this is the revision C, and it's approved in this case. And just to show you the other types here briefly, this assembly contains. So here I got the structure, and if it's part of another assembly, I can see where it's used as well, but this is the top assembly here. But we're focusing on the bill of materials tab here, and here we can see I got some information. I can show or hide the tree. I can have a look at different revisions. So in revision A, I got some other bill of material, but this is the latest. So this is the revision C, and this is how it's built. If I look at the latest here, maybe some of the components have been updated. It's not approved for the version C, but I can see that as well. I can just step back here to see so I don't forget anything. We can compare versions of the boom. So if I click on the compare version here, the button, I can compare the version C, the revision C, with the revision A to see what's difference we got. So we can see that obviously this assembly has changed its revision. Some other components has also changed revision. Some components were added. Here we have the quantity change, and I think we have something removed as well. So these two components have been removed. Yeah. I can also I can have a look at I can have different types of booms. And if I just look at this boom, I got my columns here. And this is defined in the administration tool, what properties should be shown in the different boom. And in this exported boom, I have some other information. And we will have a look at this later on here. If I want to do some change, not in the SolidWorks structure, but in the boom, I can create a new boom. I just save this, call it the purchase boom, or the spare part boom. You see, now I can just change anything I want here. So I have created a named boom and can define some extra. And really, if I have missed to apply some nuts, I can do this here. Or if we would like something else, I can hide some rows that's not a spare part. And I can insert a column. I got the part number, but maybe the vendor number as well. Yeah. So I can tweak this boom as I want. I can also save it and check it in. If I look at the assembly here, I can also show if I have different lots of different booms. I can look at them as just booms. And then I also can change state. So I can send this for approval. So if I send it to the spare part manager, Christer, he get the notification that a new spare part boom is ready for approval. So when it's in waiting for approval, I cannot change anything here, since I don't have the rights to do that. So if I go back to the file view, I can just switch back here to see that I don't forget anything. Then we will have a look at the weldment boom as well. And the weldment boom is a little bit specific. So if I just go to the right folder here, I will try to find the correct part. Just here. So if we look at this part, it's a welded structure with using the weldments functionality in SolidWorks. So I have different profiles here with different length. And if I look at the drawing, you can see that I have a weldment boom here with the quantities and the length of the beams. If we go to the SolidWorks again and go to the Bill of Materials tab, if I have a weldment part, I get the weldment boom and weldment cut list as well here. So if I look at the weldment cut list, I can see the definition of length of the different beams and a quantity. And if I look at the weldment boom, I get the nested length. So here I have a square pipe, two of them with a length of 240. And if I go to this, okay, sorry, too much math for me here. I get, if we look at the 50 times 50 here, it's 200, or the circular pipes, 2 times 100. I get the total length of the tubes. So I know how much I can have to have on stock here. That's shortly about the weldment boom. If we look at exporting the booms to other systems, we have possibility to export to Excel quite easily. Here I have defined a export boom. So this is what I want to export to Excel. So I just open this as a CSV file. Just see how this is shown. Yeah. So here we got this information. It's not really nice here, but if we just run a simple macro, I can get a much better structure here. And this is not the most basic macro done by one of our PDM guys, but it's not really that hard to create macros in Excel either. But yeah, so you can really just record a macro and then run it, or of course we can help you with creating this type of macros as well. So here I have the exported boom, and of course Excel files we can import in our PDM system and use in workflows as well. The next thing is a little bit harder for me to show, so I can just talk about it briefly. And it's exporting to other systems like ERP systems. And this export function, it can be two-way communication as well. You can get information from ERP systems as well, but now when we talk of booms, we can export them to ERP systems. And this can be triggered in the workflow. So if we look at the workflow defined in this PDM setup I've got on my computer, I can when I got a transition change here, like past approval, then I can trigger that XML files should be transferred to a specific folder where ERP system is looking. And this eliminates manual work, and if we talk about ERP systems, we can, we don't have any really limitations here, but and we have done lots of integrations with other ERP systems like Monitor, Pyramid, Jeeves, and Navision as well. And to get the ERP to work, you have to have high accuracy in the boom. And if you do this more automated, then you will have it. So you don't have the manual work typing in 2 or 3 different systems. So I will just launch the last boom here, just to see where and how you manage your booms today. I got a question here as well. ERP system, it's enterprise resource planning. We have material resource planning as well on MRP systems. Okay, if I just share the results here, you can see that you're using different systems to manage your booms here. That's interesting. Good. Seems like some of you already got these integrations here as well. Okay, so just a short summary before we end this. Depending on what position or department you work for, you have specific product information needs, and this is really why it's important to be able to create different types of booms. We have looked at different ways to create boom, both in SolidWorks drawing and assembly. We have also looked at the Treehouse, where we visually can define or look at the structure. And then finally we looked at the PDM Professional package, where we have the boom management, more boom management functionality. And in the end here we looked how to export boom to other systems like Excel or ERP systems. I see that I forgot to close the boom this time as well. Sorry for that. Okay, that's everything for this session. I hope you got a good understanding of what you can do regarding the boom in SolidWorks and SolidWorks PDM Professional, also including the export functionality. If you don't have any questions, I will just close the webinar. Thank you for listening.